This morning I woke up, I went into the bathroom, I looked into the mirror and I smiled at myself. And I was just so happy to be me. There's this thing that I'm thinking about, which is how very often when I have a crush on someone, when I like someone, when I have feelings for someone, it makes me feel very different about myself than when I'm just independent me. I don't know. I feel like when I like someone, I give them so much power over me. And I mean, it is kind of a normal thing because everyone is vulnerable inside. And when you open up to someone, you always take the risk of being hurt. And that just simply gives the other person a certain power. And I think that's normal and that's okay. And that's a whole big part of this love thing. Opening up and letting someone so close that they have the power to hurt you. I don't know if the amount of power that I give other people over me is the amount that most people do, or if I'm like giving them more than usual. And I don't know if that is caused by my own insecurities and past experiences and mental illness, or if it's because I always get with the wrong people who just hurt me. Who knows? Question of the century. But like, while it is a part of this whole love thing or whatever you want to call it, it bothers me a lot. It bothers me so much that people have this power over me. While that might be okay, in the sense of that might be normal, that's what happens when you like someone. I think one thing that I know is not good is that sometimes I love myself less because of other people. That's a terrible thing. That's not something that should be normal. And it makes me very sad. And it happens to me a lot. And I don't want it to. I think maybe you need to like find a certain distance or a good balance between, yes, I'm invested in this person and this thing that I want, but also I have this distance. I can deal with it and I'm still my own person and I still love myself no matter how this plays out. And that's really hard to do, but I think I'm working on it, you know. They say realizing is the first step to getting better, so sorry for the interruption. I just made a smoothie. It's been a while actually. This is self-care, getting my greens in. Anyway, I feel like maintaining self-love while loving another person is one of the hardest things ever. And I'm talking about the kind of relationships where you have feelings for someone and maybe you don't know if they have feelings for you, or it's complicated and you don't know what the fuck is going on because they're sending you mixed messages and stuff. I think in those kinds of situations it's very easy to feel bad about yourself when someone else doesn't love you the way you want them to. And I mean, for a part, to a certain degree, I think that's normal. But still, I think it's very important to maintain a certain feeling of being your own person and loving yourself no matter what happens with this other person. When it comes to self-love, you know, self-love is not just about getting up and looking into the mirror and liking what you see, or it's not about loving every single thing that you do. I think a very basic part of self-love is self-care. Believing, or at least trying to believe, that you deserve to be healthy and happy and doing whatever you need to do in order to be that, in order to be healthy and happy. And I think, again, a very basic part of Self-care is honesty. Being honest with yourself, also with other people, but especially with yourself. And I think that is one of the best things you can do when you're in a situation where you've handed power over to someone and you don't want to feel like you're losing yourself. You don't want to feel like you're struggling with self-love because of another person. I think one of the best ways to avoid that is being very honest with yourself, very authentic about how you feel, and then validating and honoring those feelings by taking them seriously and acting upon them. I mean, if you like someone, you validate that feeling and you're honest with yourself. You're honest with yourself and you say, I know I like that person. I want to be with that person. And then you try. You get out there and you try your best to somehow make it happen because you believe that you deserve something good. You deserve for it to work out, so you're gonna try. That's self-love. That's being honest with yourself. Even though it means opening up and being vulnerable and risking getting hurt, and that's scary, but that is a part of it, and that is strength. But at the end of the day, it's self-love because you are trying to get something good for yourself that you want. And then if it doesn't work out, I mean, it might work out, and then it's like, dude, that's self-love. You believe that you could have something good, and so you tried and it worked out, and now you have something good. Great for you. But if it doesn't work out, I think then you need to be honest with yourself about how you're feeling. And like sometimes it's not just a clear yes or no. Sometimes it's something in between. And you need to be honest with yourself. Is that what you want? Is that what you need? Is this right for you? And if you realize it isn't, then you need to be honest with yourself and end it, or maybe the other person will end it. And then you still have control over how you deal with the situation after it's done. I think there's always a bit of power that you hand over to other people. There's always the risk of getting hurt. But if you're honest with yourself, then you try. And if it doesn't work out, you're honest with yourself about what you need, and then you deal with that. And there's nothing weak about that. And I've noticed that I feel like when a relationship isn't good and you kind of know it but you don't want to let go, sometimes I feel like I need to be the one to end it out of self-respect, and letting the other person be the one to end it and to hurt me again is another way of them just calling the shots and me having handed my power over and so on. But I think at the end of the day, it doesn't matter who's ending it or who did what and who said what. All that matters is that you truly, really, actually, honestly tried. And then that you do what's best for you. Of course, always trying to not hurt other people, but you know, this is always a hurting game. And I think even though sometimes we don't feel good about what we do, and even though sometimes we will feel a bit powerless and scared in those situations and vulnerable, at the end of the day, if you're honest with yourself and you're taking care of yourself, that is self-love, and you're not losing yourself. So it's all good. Oh my god, feelings are such a freaking mess. At least have smoothies. Okay. Goodbye.